Welcome to episode 4 of Lockdown with Accies, where today I'm joined by Amy Anderson, NT Gardiner, Hannah Coakley, Sarah Rind, and as always, Bobby Watson. How are you guys all doing? I know that you're a little bit desperate to get back playing, and I'm sure, Bobby, you had a meeting with the SFA the other day. How did that meeting go, and did we learn anything about the resumption of the game?
Yeah, a few of the clubs met with key members of the SFA board and executive team. So just really, laid out why we think it's important that women's football and elite women's football can get back. So the ball's kind of in SFA's court at the moment, and it's ultimately down to their decision with themselves and the Scottish government. So, I'm positive that we'll get back, and I'm sure the most important thing for us is just to keep working hard, and whether it be Zoom sessions or we've got a Strava group now and everyone's been feeling sick when they see MT's 3K times and things like that. So
MT, that's unreal.
So it's just down to us to be ready, and hopefully it's not too far away.
Yep. What have you all been doing to keep yourselves occupied, obviously, during this lockdown? Have you been working and stuff like that?
Yeah, I've still been working full time as a teacher. I'm in school as well, working at the hub, and then in the house trying to work full time whilst having kids in the house. It's not easy, but yeah, getting there.
What's it like working from home as a teacher? Obviously, I think you're a teacher as well, Hannah. What's it like at the moment? It must be an absolute nightmare at times.
It's chaos. Or I'd say organised chaos sometimes, but I think it's making us better as teachers because we're having to adapt to different things and use new resources. But it's the kids that you feel it for because they're missing a lot of valuable time in class.
Yep. What about yourself, Amy and Sarah? What have you been doing to keep yourself occupied?
At the moment, I'm really doing nothing. Don't have football, don't have work. So just been going like walks, and then the odd run or two.
Lots of walks for me. I'm furloughed just now, so yeah, just try to get through the hour. A little bit of gym work, but not much, I'm not gonna lie.
Yep. So as we talked on earlier, we're just going to go through your careers one by one. We'll start with you, Amy. You joined Accies in 2016, and you made your debut against Rangers in the League Cup, I'm pretty sure. What was it that made you want to move to Accies?
I moved to Accies because of the opportunity to play first team football, basically. The clubs I was at before, I was just playing like development or under 17s. So Accies was my first team. And also to play in SWPL too, and then that year to go on and win it was a really good year.
You're currently the club's captain, and you recently made your 100th appearance for the club. That must have been a proud moment for yourself.
Aye, definitely. I was only 22 at the time and I made 100 appearances, so it's a really good achievement.
You're an SWPL2 winner as well. What kind of memories you got of that day, lifting the title back in 2016?
Well, to be honest, it was a up and down season until about August, and then I had to go on a 9 or 10 winning streak.
9 in a row. We won 9 in a row.
To lift the title. MT was there as well, actually. I thought it was a really good team, good bunch of girls, and I can't remember until we played the last game of the season, Bob.
But we played Buchan, and we'd battered them in the first game. Like the first time we played them, 5 or 6-1. Went up there and scored a last minute winner, 92nd minute stuff to win 2-1. And with that, I think that was the game. Kind of gave us a load of belief. Actually, we're in to do this. But it was weird because we didn't actually play that well. I think there was a lot in there. I think MT scored the first, routed the goalie, and it just kind of relaxed everyone. And there's still loads of good photos up, and great day. And it was a really good side, and Amy and MT were a really big part of winning it that season.
Yep. Amy, you've also won all sorts of awards. I was actually having a look at it on, and you've won the SWPL2 Player of the Year, Player of the Month for Accies, and Player of the Year as well for Accies. You must be so proud, not just to be in the run for these awards, but to be winning them as well.
Yeah, definitely. But it's also credit to the rest of my teammates as well. The coach and the Gary and Bobby, who's developed me as a player, and I'm able to showcase what I can do.
So just moving on next, we've got you, Hannah. It's been a difficult season for you so far. I don't actually think you've played a game this season because you picked up a bit of an injury during the summer. Are we close to seeing you back in the pitch should football continue?
Well, this seems like a running theme now. Then I get close, probably ready to get a game time, and then we just get scrapped again. So it's just about building my time up on the park again. This is the second. I've had 2 serious injuries in my career, and this is the second of them. So hopefully this is the last, and then I'll be back to full fitness.
Yeah, hopefully. You came through the ranks at Glasgow City with Ando, I'm pretty sure. What was it like for obviously just both of you? And I'd imagine you've been best pals for such a long time now as well.
Me and Ando go way back. We started at Motherwell. I know we're on Accies, but we started at Motherwell as young girls, 7 and 8 year olds. But we've been playing beside each other all our life really. I used to be in midfield beside Ando, believe it or not. So I've gradually moved back as I get slower and older. But it's been really good.
Mm-hmm.
We live not far down the road for each other, so it's ideal, especially when we're stuck in lockdown and you're allowed 1-to-1 running. So it's quite good that way.
You were a regular starter for Rangers between 2017 and 2019. I'll ask you the same questions as Rachel in the last episode. Do you think that they'll be able to break Glasgow City's dominance this season?
I think with the investment that Rangers have got, and although Glasgow City have done it for 13 years in a row, and credit to them because they didn't really have the same funding as the big clubs now, but Celtic and Rangers have got money pumped into them. They're now looking abroad to sign players. And they've got a really good network. This year, I think it'll be really close, but Rangers have shown that they can do it, and when they beat City 5-1 recently, so potentially I think it would be definitely a good season for women's football fans to have a look at the two at the top.
Just moving on to you, MT. You didn't actually start playing football until you were 18, I believe, and I believe you're an athlete until then.
Yeah.
What was it?
21, Ben, it was actually.
21?
Yeah, 21, yeah.
What was it that made you want to make the transformation into football, and what was it like obviously being an athlete?
Well, I was a runner before and competed at quite a high level and then Celtic started a women's team, and I thought, oh, why not? I'll give it a wee go, and that's what I did. And then here I am still just now, yeah. Cool. And actually, Gary Doctor was my coach at Celtic. I really owe him a lot for, I was literally just a runner. That's all I did on the pitch as well, was run with the ball. Still, can I just do that? But it's kind of down to Gary that I'm able to develop into an all right player. You said that you did you represent Scotland or anything, but you're an athlete? Obviously, you said you ran to a high level. Yeah, I did when I was younger. In the age groups, I went down south and competed with the Scotland team. Competed for West of Scotland as well in various cross countries, and that was kind of middle distance cross country. That was my event. Yep, you've played 64 games for Accies, and you've scored 32 goals, which is obviously the highest amount of goals that MD scored at the club just now. That's also an average of a goal of every 2 games. It's not too bad for a winger kind of forward player, is it? It's all right. I must have scored a lot of those goals in a few amount of games, because I've scored 1 this season or something. I think when I was a bit younger, I used to score a lot more goals. That was kind of more of my game was scoring. But now I think I've kind of changed as a player as well. I think I'm more kind of assist and creating goals rather than the goal scorer now. I don't actually think I'm very good at scoring goals.
You're definitely better in the air.
I'm terrible in there. I don't like
Bobby. How good is her left foot? But
do you know, we were talking, I think it was last year, me and Gary we were talking, and the kind of the sort of wee short season we played Stirling, and the goal MT scored was like a kind of classic chop back onto her right foot, but picked out like a sort of Zidane type bend it into the top corner finish, and we were like, how is she getting better? This isn't right. And then we look at her player tech data, so how fast she's moving, and I'm like, she's getting older, but she's getting faster. So I don't know, give it another 10 years and you'll be like Usain Bolt, you know?
Yep.
No, I think I've scored like 2 goals in my head my whole career. You know, I'm terrible in the air, but Ando, my left foot's actually no bad.
I agree. You're getting
Aye.
there.
MC, I know you're doing that cut back every time and you still doing it.
When we were playing fives before Christmas, I got Andy an absolute belter with it. And I actually ended up falling in his bum.
We all like talking about left foots, and Ando can't really complain because the first season Ando was at Accies. I don't think she used her left foot. We used to call it the Ando because she used to have everything the outside of her foot instead of using her left foot. It was like, you know, it took us a good 3 years to get her to actually realise she can use that. It's no here just for standing on.
Yep.
I can just
MT,
pass. No, that's it.
you've also got 3 kids, MT, and you've still continued to play even having those kids. A lot of other women footballers must look up to somebody like you, and it shows that obviously you can have kids in football and come back and play at a high level.
Yeah, I don't know about looking up to me, honestly. I wouldn't look up to me, but I think, I don't know how I do it sometimes. It's when we stop, like just now, I'm like, how on earth do we manage this? But, you know, it's credit to my partner, Barry. I honestly, I could not do it without him, without the support he gives me. I get support from my family as well, you know, we're looking after the kids. But, you know, when you think about it, like, nobody would question a guy still playing when they've got 3 kids. So, like, why? I know we have to go through the physical side of it as well, but like, why do we question that women still want to play football? You know, I know I've got 3 kids, and like they're my absolute world. I've also got 2 stepdaughters, teenage stepdaughters as well, so I've got a full house. But you know, I'm still me. I still, you know, I still like to do the things that I want to do as well. And you know, I like now that I can be a good role model for my kids. If I'm a role model for them and they look up to me, then I think I've done my job.
And you're running away from that homeschool, and that's how you get faster.
That's it. Just like, I don't want to be doing that. I'm gonna I'll run my 3K every day if it gives me half an hour away from dealing with the homeschooling and the work.
I was talking earlier on, obviously, about when I was talking to Ando about the 2016 when you lifted the title. You're also part of that squad. What are your memories from that day? Because I'm pretty sure that you won Accies Player of the Year that year as well.
Yeah, I just loved it. I loved that season. As Ando said, it was really up and down, and I think, you know, that made it even sweeter when we actually won it, because like everybody had written us off. Like, nobody thought we were going to win it, and then we had this incredible run from the summer. I think actually we get knocked out off of Hearts in the cup.
Yeah, we lost. We lost just before the break away to Glasgow Women. We lost with a really late goal. We get beat 2-1, and then we lost back to backs away at Hearts. We lost in the cup, and then we went there and lost in the league. So we were like, I think we were 7 or 8 points behind, and we basically had both of them. We had to go and win every single game. And that day at Buchan, we won 2-1 with the last kick of the ball. Hutchie Vale had picked up a point against Hearts, and it was just like, game on, you know, and we went on and won the rest of the games. But the game against Hearts is those pictures with you and Vaz.
Yeah. I was just going to say that. Yeah, it was just sheer joy and elation. The games against Hearts and Glasgow Girls, I think they're my 2 most enjoyable games I've ever played, because just everything was on the line. We just had to win. I think before the Hearts game, I was in crutches. Like 2 days before it, like I was injured. I'd hurt my heel.
Don't tell the club, but I've still got the crutch in my shit.
So I was playing injured, but I think it was just the adrenaline. I was just so determined that we were going to win that day. That I loved that season. I just absolutely loved it. And then against Buchan, I think we were so nervous as well. But we did it. And it was great. And the best thing for me was that I had 2 of my kids there that were able to watch. And, you know, after we won the game, it was great getting them on. And I've got those pictures and those memories that I'll always have.
Yep. Just moving on to Sarah last, like, you joined the club in 2019 and you made your debut in the 17-0 win against Touchy Vale. That must have been an enjoyable game to be part of, because we obviously found out how much Ellie enjoyed it when she scored a goal as well last week.
Yeah, it was a great game. And obviously, like, well, by the scoreline, not too much to do for me. But yeah, it was good to get a first game under my belt.
Yeah, you spent most of your career in the SWPL2, and like, what are the differences between the SWPL2 and obviously the top flight? And did you ever expect to be playing in the Premier League at like such a late stage in your career?
No, definitely not. But I think I just stayed in SPL2 because I didn't think that I didn't believe in myself that I could play at a higher level. And yeah, there's massive differences between the leagues. My last team, I'd probably describe it as a scheme team, just playing football with my pals. The one and only time that I've been sent off in my career. Oops.
What did you do?
Yeah, that was just kind of the mentality, and it was just like it was just some meaty challenges, to be fair.
Yeah, I was just about to ask what you've done to get yourself sent off, obviously in the scheme team.
Yeah, I followed the lassie twice.
Deserved it,
And it's been the end of the game.
You need to tell.
And then a 2-match plan to follow. 3 match.
We need to tell Andy, the goalie coach, if he upsets you, you'll just volley him.
Just the last question for you, Sarah. You've also captained the Scotland team at the Homeless World Cup. That must have also been a proud moment for yourself as well.
Yeah, it was incredible. And especially at that point in my life, I'd kind of like put in a lot of hard work to turn myself around and turn my life around. And like, I don't have the comparison because I've never played like for the national team or that, but like to come through the journey that I did and to be able to represent my country was just like an experience that I'll never forget, and it was such a proud moment for me.
So me and Sarah's paths have like sort of crisscrossed over the years. And when I was at Glasgow Girls, the second team, Sarah was the goalkeeper with the second team and had come back to playing football after kind of a long while out. And I think I'd left the Accies and whatever. We hadn't spoken to each other, seen each other for a while, and the Homeless World Cup was getting held in Glasgow. So me and Mark Kirky used to went to watch it, and we're sitting down and watch the game, and Scotland came out, and I'm like, is that Sarah? Like, walking out as a captain, it's like the last thing I expected. I was just so happy for you. And there's that really good picture of you and one of your teammates. You've got her on your shoulder. Yeah,
so actually, the Homeless World Cup in Glasgow, I didn't actually represent Scotland. Because we were the host nation, so we had to kind of have like reserve players because there's so many injuries. Like, it's such intense games. It's like 14 minutes of just non-stop, and it's like 4-a-side, so it's completely different rules. So I was supposed to be assistant manager for an extra team that we'd put in because Canada had to pull out because of visa problems last minute. So we made up a team of like with 3 days before the Homeless World Cup started, like a team of our players like who were refugees and asylum seekers. So there was like language barriers and all the rest of it, and trying to teach them the rules. What we'd been working with the Scotland team for months was like quite a challenge. And then it was like the second day in, and my gaffer came to me and he was like, "So, do you want to play?" And I was like, "Oh my God, yes." And then I was like, wait. I was like, "What's the catch?" And I just knew what he was going to say. I was like, "What's the team?" And I was like, who needs a player? And I knew before he said what he was going to say. And he was like, England. And I was like, oh. And I was like really, really torn. And then I was like, right, on 2 conditions I'll play. I was like, 1, if they're playing Scotland, I'm not playing that game. Like, I can't. And I was like, 2, I was like, that you understand that it's only acceptable because it's the Homeless World Cup that I'm playing for England here. But yeah, and I also played for Wales, and I scored a goal with my left peg for the Ivory Coast.
Ivory Coast?
Wow.
That should have been your fun fact.
I know, actually, yeah, I remember that for next time. Lockdown 4.
Things.
As always, we'll finish off and we'll go through a couple of quick fire questions. The first question I've got here is about the best goal you've scored. Sarah, we'll go for the best save you made in that category as well.
I think for me, it'd probably be, I think it was against Granite. I think it went in like off the underside of the bar, and the ball just broke to me. Yeah, the ball just broke from the edge of the box, and I just thought it.
Mine's is probably that one against Stirling last season, but I don't even know if that counts because it was in the season that got cancelled.
Oh, no, they count. The appearances and the goals will count. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's probably my best one.
Thing is,
One
all
that was
your
outside of the box.
Well, it actually wasn't.
thing is, all your goals are usually rounding the goalie. Like no one rounds the goalie except you. That season we won it. I think you must have rounded the goalie about 7 or 8 times that year.
Well, not the best goal I've scored, but to me, probably my most special goal is on my debut for Glasgow City when I was 16. I scored a double against Sloffa. Surprisingly, both were from corners. That's normally where I score my goals.
Yeah. What about yourself, Sarah? Obviously, will say your best save and your best goal's obviously got to be against Ivory Coast, isn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely. Even though the commentator was like, I think that was meant to be a cross. I'm like, well. I don't know.
There's one for us. There's 2 that stick out for me for
I've
you.
got one for you as well.
There's the one against Stirling in the same game MT scored for the corner. I think it was a free kick into the box. You tipped her in the post.
Yeah.
Brilliant save. And then there's one against Rangers. Ian Steele's got a brilliant stop off it. You're at full stretch. That's a great save as well.
Okay, yeah, let's go with them.
What's your proudest moment in football?
Probably winning the league with Accies that season, yeah. Just because we came from behind and had to go on that streak towards the end. That's probably, that's mine.
For me, for club, I would say same as MT, winning the SWPL 2, and then when I was younger, playing for Scotland 15s and under 17s. That was a proud achievement as well.
I don't know. I've just probably joining Accies and joining them, and then the games that I've played have been phenomenal.
My proudest moment is probably when I was that 8-year-old wee girl and I won my first trophy. I still got it up the stair actually, and it was for Netherton Boys Club, and at this time Kieran Tierney was in my team, and I had just started playing, and I won most improved player that season, and I'll never forget that feeling. I mean, I won some trophies after that, but I remember that
distinctly.
So you said that you played with Kieran Tierney. Could you tell? Obviously, we'll ask a different question. Could you tell that he was going to go on to be a good player at that age?
Well, even at that age, Tierney ended up moving up to the boys group above us. So we were like 97s, and he ended up going up to play with the 96s. But in all fairness, there was quite a good few players in that team that you thought at the time, they could really go. And then I played with my cousin actually, Carla Jackson, and she went to America. She was on my team, and we had a great wee team thinking back.
Right, brilliant. So who's the toughest player that you've faced?
I'd say more recently Rachel Boyle for me. She's just constantly moving. You always need to check your shoulder and to see where she is. Just finds pockets of space. And she's like me, getting on the ball and spraying passes about. But her Lisa Robertson as well.
Yeah, probably Nick Dock is one of the toughest players. You know, she sits so high as well, so she forces you back. You don't really get to play I don't really get to play the way I want to play, sitting high. I feel as though I'm more defensive. So yeah, probably Nick Dock.
Mine is probably grown up in Cuthbert, because, like I said, when I used to play in the Midley Park with Amy, I used to go into that part and think, oh my God, here we go again. She's going to turn me inside out. She was tiny, but she was so much miles above, well, me definitely. She was just so good, found wee space. She could do anything with the ball.
Is that why you moved back to centre back?
Oh, aye. She embarrassed me too much. I was like, oh, stuff this. I'm tapping it.
We tag teamed her, Hannah.
Don't know about tag team there. It doesn't tackle, but anyway.
Honestly, get rounded by empty every 5 minutes.
Well, I see.
It's weird because a lot of the teams that Sarah played for, in the old Division 2, you would get some really good players playing down a divisions as they came to the end of their career. So you had Suzanne Grant and things like that, got 100 Scotland caps, played in Division 2. So it's kind of strange. you know, you'd have probably played against loads of folk like that, Sarah, and you know, or an up and coming. You know, there could be someone just, you know, playing for a development team and played Celtic reserves or something. You're on the end of an absolute shoeing by a bunch of 17-year-olds. You're just like, why is this happening?
What's your most embarrassing moment in football?
Oh, I ran full pelt into a post at the side of the pitch before, knocked myself backwards. Just ended up poleaxing the floor because I was running down the wing and I was trying to keep the ball in. I did keep the ball in the park, but I couldn't stop myself and I just smacked right into the post and just fell back. That's probably mine.
I can't think of anything on the part, but in an interview with Dion, I said that's the most embarrassing.
I think I've heard this
play
before.
that interview now.
It's like 30 seconds of Dion just saying random words and Amy just buckled.
I'm just trying to hold him a laugh in.
Is that the old Kilmarnock?
That's the one.
Aye!
Yeah, everybody put a shift in and played well. Everybody played really, really well. Obviously we needed the 3 points going into Sunday's game, which is another massive game for us. So positive from today's game going into Sunday. Yeah, well, we all Kilmarnock always come out and they always put a shift in. They're always very physical when they play. Us, obviously, every team they play.
There's a one with you and Megan Quigley as you and Kirsty Mack. You're just like, and George put together that video and it's just like the two of you going,
Yeah.
But my most embarrassing was probably getting injured at Spartans. I was in agony, but I was absolutely mortified at the same time that I had to lie in that park for ages. And everybody was so good. The Spartans, physio especially, was really good, but it was just mortifying. I was like, please, somebody. I couldn't move, and I just wanted somebody to drag me to the side of the park so you could just get on with the game. It was terrible.
Spartans had just relayed a brand new pitch and poor Hannah takes one in the back and goes down. And like obviously after a certain amount of time, you're like, this is a really bad one. You know, we need to get an ambulance. So Edinburgh City, you know, ambulance services reversing this massive ambulance on this brand new pitch for poor Hannah, who's screaming in absolute agony until we got her the gas. Until we.
That was horrendous. That gas didn't even work. I said to the woman, if I was in labour, I would tell you to take this back. It was horrendous.
Mine's is I don't know. I'm sure there's been many. I mean, it's never fun. I feel like honestly, curl up in a ball and dying when I get lobbed in a game. But yeah, I can't remember which game it was, but I went to take a free kick and back when we played in grass parks and just absolutely went flying completely on my
Feaster
the ball and then had to get up with everybody all the spectators just trying to hold in these laughs. Even my teammates, I'm just hey, cheers to the support their guys. And not fall again.
Yep. The next question is what annoys you most about football, and if you could change one thing, what would you change?
Lockdown.
That's a good response.
I think that's the first one that's said that.
I know, I've got one. See the wee black balls? Doesn't matter how many times you take your shoes off at the front door or your boot bag, they end up everywhere. I woke up in the middle of the night and these black balls are in my bed. Can't get rid of them. That is definitely my most annoying part. And I think my mum would probably agree as well.
Probably the running at training. That drives me insane. I hate it. Even though I go out running every day. No, but just running without a ball at training, that infuriates me. I know we have
when you go a run, you're 3K, just take a ball, we can just run that. Aye.
No, but when I go a run when I'm at home, I know I'm going to run. When I go to football, I expect to be doing football and not just run. That's my reason.
Well, if the strength and conditioning coach says they're doing running. He's got the degree in it.
I've got another one actually. Being a defender and standing when it's 45 attackers versus a back four. and you're just standing getting hammered. I don't like that. And it's normally raining and freezing as well.
I've thought of one in the last couple of weeks that I had mentioned. It's when one of them make a mistake, or the first mistake of the game, and Gary usually shouts at me because somehow that's my fault. Like, I get the first, so before he's moaned at any of you, he's already moaned at me, and usually like gives me the look of, you know, the look he's got when he just looks at you and you're like, say something, and it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, or when we don't get a game at the end of training, and you're like, is that us? Like, no game. Yeah.
Who's the most loudest and buzzed up teammate? Ellie Kane's obviously featured in every single episode so far, and I'm sure you will probably be first to nominate as well. Dion's obviously up there as well.
Oh, definitely.
I would definitely say Gio.
Oh yeah.
For me, it has to be Gio.
Yeah, I'd go with Gio as well. And our like our crazy dance moves when we're meant to be stretching as well.
I think Gary and Bobby just about turned at them.
Yeah.
He's getting quite bold as Gio, like shouting over, no bother guys, no bother guys. Just like, know where the line is, Gio, know where the line is. No.
Aye, definitely Gio for me.
Aye, Georgie, yeah.
The last question I got here is, like, what's your future plans after football? Obviously, you and MT, Hannah, are both like teaching just now, and I don't know, what are just your ideas, obviously, and plans for the future?
I don't plan on like going into coaching or that. I tried it at college. I just realised it wasn't for me. But and then obviously not too distant future, I want to join the police. So that'll be my focus.
I'm not planning on retiring ever.
Yeah, I like that attitude.
I'm going to keep playing as long as I can. Like, it's all mindset, really.
Yep, no, definitely.
Goalies can play till like 50, Sarah. No problem.
At least.
Like
Go on, guys.
Watch me set a new record.
Definitely, we'll see you in the interviews one day in the news. Not the oldest goalkeeper.
Yeah, I'll keep playing until my legs give up. So don't know when that'll be. And then after that, maybe just like chill out a wee bit. You know, I don't know how to do that, but I'll try. Just always been involved in competitive sport unless I've been pregnant. So I don't know what I'll do. Actually, genuinely, not a clue.
Thanks to Amy, Hannah, MT, and Sarah for coming on today's podcast, and all the best for the rest of the season, girls.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.